Hello everyone, and welcome to Tabletop, the channel dedicated to all things trading cards and board games. This show and the following content was made possible thanks to viewers like you who supported us through buying singles and products from our website, www.tabletop.ie, or our card market account. If you want to show your support in other ways, then please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get on to the episode. Welcome back, Team Tabletop. When you think of Yu-Gi-Oh, you think of the physical card game. But today, I'll be listing off everything I hated about Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist, the video game. Let me preface this by saying that it's a solid game, but some of the choices they made never really sat well with me. So I'll be highlighting every single thing that annoyed me while I played, and hopefully give you insight as to whether or not you want to spend your hard-earned dollars getting a copy. The format we'll be using is different than usual because given that it is a video game, I figured this would be the best way to project my frustrations towards the game and the numerous ways it should be improved upon, but hasn't as of time of this video. I hope it comes across that way, but if you'd rather me splice in some live footage of myself for my next potential video game review, let me know down below in the comments. Before I begin, I want to give a quick thank you for everyone who has joined us in the last few weeks. It really has been an honor to have such a warm reception to the world of YouTubing, but in particular I want to say that the Yu-Gi-Oh community has been especially kind, so I want you all to know that this video is created for you, and to my patrons Michael and Mikey, you have my deepest gratitude. Now, without any further ado, let's get started. Legacy of the Duelist was first released on the 30th and 31st of July in 2015 on PS4 and Xbox One, respectively, but wouldn't see a PC release until December 7, 2016, a whole year and a half later. Upon its debut, it had over 7,000 cards and a campaign mode that took you all the way up to Arc V, meaning that everything up to pendulum summoning was included in the price tag. Then, 4 years later, on the 20th of August 2019, the game would see its biggest update of all time in the form of a complete version called Legacy of the Duelist Link Evolution, which brought the total card count to over 10,000 while including all the DLC that came before it. It itself wasn't a DLC, but instead a brand new standalone game. This means that the players who kept up with the game via purchasing DLC were forced to buy this remastered copy and start their games from the beginning and start amassing their collections once more. I understand why this was the case. It was a major overhaul and introduced one of the weirdest summoning mechanics to date in the form of link summoning, but still, it's a real kick in the balls to support a game throughout its lifespan, then not even given the option to update for a fee. I know that the game isn't that expensive anymore, because you can usually find it on sale during the holiday season, unless you were like me and bought it for full price for the purpose of this video months ago, goddammit. But the fact still stands. They gave no options to the people who bought the original game to update for a fee, and that puts a sour taste in my mouth. But moving on. The game itself is what you expect from a Yu-Gi-Oh game. It has cards, you can make decks, and win cards to make more decks. It's basically gambling addiction the game. But to be fair, what card game isn't? For those of you new to the game, it has tutorials at the start of every campaign to show you how the various gimmicks each series introduced. But to those of you who already know the game inside and out, fuck you, because you cannot skip the tutorials at all. That's right, if you know basically how to play the game, there is no way to skip out on these painfully slow tutorials. You have to make the moves they tell you to make in the order that they say, otherwise you'll be wasting your time, and you have to do it every single time you start one of the campaigns. This is great for newcomers, but man, I played this game on the Switch. When the text was so small, it made my ding dong look great. And now, I just want to start the game again on my PC without having a condescending asshole showing me how to play my cards. The cutscenes are terrible in the game, but they get the job done. They're basically cardboard cutouts with text similar to a visual novel, so you can get a sense of why you're dueling and how it progresses the storyline, which is nice. But there's no voice acting at all in the game, and the cutscenes are incredibly short. I'm really disappointed in this regard, because one of my favorite series happens to be the latest in the franchise, which is Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains, which has no cutscenes at all. For someone who enjoys the anime, I would have loved to have some acknowledgement when it comes to the series, or even more generally, hearing snippets of my favorite characters as they summon their boss monsters or when they win certain duels, but apparently that is too much effort. Some monsters in the game get a special summoning animation with ass quality CGI, which is a nice touch, but you have to sit through the entire animation every single time in a duel. If you summon, say, Dark Magician to sacrifice him, then bring him back to sacrifice him again, you have to sit through the animation multiple times with no option to skip or turn it off. This is beyond stupid. There is no reason to make them mandatory, because sometimes you just want to get on with the duel, or you're doing a long combo and don't want to lose your train of thought. These animations aren't terrible, but they aren't something to brag about, especially when some of them takes 10 seconds of my life that I could be using on the game. And you know the real kicker? There are only 21 monsters that even have animation in the game. That's right, in a game with over 10,000 cards, only 21 of them have an animation. You know, that's problem solving at its finest right there. You know how we can make up for our lack of animation? but making the ones we do have mandatory, so they know we have art assets. And I wouldn't be this salty, but they didn't include Elemental Hero Flame Wingman from the GX era, but did include Elemental Hero Thunder Giant. Like, who the hell thinks of that when you bring up GX? Let me tell you how attacking works in this game. You pick a card, choose a target, and hear a blip noise. It doesn't matter how strong your monsters are, it will always have that same sounding, sad effect. There is no variations for dragons, swords, or magicians, just a blip noise, because why would you give any more money to the sound department? I don't know what happened, but it wouldn't have killed them to add in some special attack animations to play passively while you can take your turn, or for cards like Blue Eyes White Dragon using its spread, or Dark Magician using his Dark Magic attack, but no, everything is as plain as you can get. Which brings me to the next part. The music in this game is ass. You remember all those amazing theme songs, sound effects, and special theme music from the show? None of them are here. All you get is generic background noise as you work your way through the campaign, and even when you face off against the last person in the line, you don't get any type of variation. I would have loved to hear passionate duelists play when they face up against Tem, or Yusaka's team in the background when they summon Decode Talker. But for some reason or another, these easy include that gave the show life are absent from the product, which is the biggest missed opportunity I feel from this game. As the game first came out on console, you would expect there to be a thing or two out of place when they ported it to the PC or Switch, but let me tell you now, they literally transferred the files over because it is not intuitive at all to play the game on the PC. The deck building is clearly made for console, and even the boxes they have for searching is a basic GUI, doesn't have any artwork for it. It would have been so much easier to have a search box over here instead of having to go filter, search by name, then type in what you need. It's completely unnecessary. At least I can read everything because it's high resolution, because on the Switch you'll get a migraine because the text is so small. I already talked about the animation, the music, and sound effects, but once you get past that, it's a really solid game, and arguably one of the best ways to play Yu-Gi-Oh! On the go. There are a few things I don't like about it, one of which is that you cannot put stops on each sequence. So if I wanted to activate a trap card at my opponent's end phase, I have to click no every single phase before it. I can hold the right mouse key to auto reject, but sometimes I miss the timing and completely fuck up on that. Another thing I hate is the inability to go back. Sometimes I click a monster to attack, but then it prompts me if I want to activate a card in my hand, realizing that I chose the wrong monster and want to go back, but it won't let me. I will understand that the attack already went through, but I'm literally waiting on damage to execute, so I see no reason why I can't revert back to the previous state. Also, I like playing the game at a faster pace, which is why the unskippable animations are a real pain in the ass for me. That's why in general, I would have liked to have the game speed up and have things played faster so I can get more games in. I already know what's happening and it doesn't really affect my thinking time, so why is there no option to speed up your game is beyond my comprehension. Now you might be thinking that's all there is to the game, but let me tell you, I saved the most frustrating feature for last. The pack openings. I know and you know that I love opening up booster packs. I love getting new cards added to my collection, but this game has made a mockery of it. When you play the game, you accumulate these points that you can spend on the store to open up cards for your collection, but they aren't separated by set, but rather characters. You unlock these characters as you progress in the story, but man, is it tedious. To begin with, you don't know what cards you're gonna get from each person, unless you watch the show, and even then, you get some of the most random bits from them. But the most frustrating thing is that you cannot purchase packs in bulk. You have to buy one, sit through the opening, then repeat the process. This slow process is the only way you have of opening up these cards, so you better have no plans this evening, because it will take you hours to just open up the packs and get all the cards. There is no reason for there to be no mass opening option. It takes a few moments of coding, and while you're at it, give us a list of all the cards we get from them, so we don't have to spend hours searching aimlessly to get that one card that we need from the game. It really grinds my gears, because I love opening up booster packs, I make a whole channel about it, and these aren't even like the legendary duelist sets you can get in real life. The game hasn't seen any DLCs since its creation in March. This means that new sets have come and gone in the real life equivalent with no changes to the game at all, so you can tell that they're basically given up on the game at this point. The game isn't bad by any means, and it's actually really fun, but these glares are too apparent for me to just ignore. I will say that if you can get your hands on it during a sale, then by all means do. It is the best way to play the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game solo, but it's definitely not worth the €40 price tag I spent on it. It actually pains me, because it had the potential to be updated with new card sets and refined to the best experience you can get from a Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game. And for what it's worth, I really think that it is the best Yu-Gi-Oh! Game they've ever made. But it fails to me, because it had the potential to be the only Yu-Gi-Oh! Game we would ever need. And they missed that here. That's my review of today, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. This episode, and all others like it, was made possible thanks to the support of everyone on this list. Truly, I wouldn't be here without them, and you have my deepest gratitude. Thank you so much.